When I was in law school, I had the great privilege to work in clinicals that were headed by Jack Greenberg and by Ruth Bader Ginsburg. They showed me from the beginning what it felt like to help individuals in the moment, but then also to move society in the larger run, the larger picture. At all three firms I worked at, pro bono work was encouraged. My late partner, Gib Walton at Vincent & Elkins, introduced me to Texas Appleseed, and that was the start of a beautiful pro bono relationship.
When I met Allan, we were in the middle of working on immigration reform. Allan had not done this sort of work before. However, he was game, and we succeeded. We passed the state's first indigent criminal defense reform legislation, and an ABA consultant and lawyer who worked with us called it the most important victory of its kind in the country in 25 years. So we have Allan to thank for that. And the work that we started with Allan many years ago continued through Deborah.
Allan does not shy away from controversial or difficult issues. And his work with Texas Appleseed over the last more than 20 years now has touched the lives of so many Texans and made Texas a state where all of us have better access to opportunity.
One of the great pleasures I've had is getting to mentor younger lawyers in their pro bono efforts.
He would always say it's just the right thing to do. And I kind of just fell right in with that because it made sense. And so I started hopping on a few pro bono cases, and eventually Allan and I got on a big one, the Fisher versus University of Texas case.
The University of Texas was engaged in litigation involving its use of race in the admissions process.
In that case, Allan and I worked together to write an amicus brief to the Supreme Court on behalf of the family of civil rights pioneer Heman Sweat, who had been denied admission at the University of Texas Law School on the basis of race.
Allan was masterful in bringing together the history, the law, and the power this family represented.
With the help of Gary, with the help of Nick Grimmer, and the great involvement of the Sweat family, we put together a pretty good brief, and we ended up getting a good result in the Fisher case.
That was probably one of the most important cases that I'll ever work on. And working with Allan and hearing his thoughts on the importance of diversity, it really, really struck a chord with me and has frankly changed my life outlook. Those are lessons that I will always have with me.
I'm just impressed in every way with Allan Van Fleet. He was known as the $1 billion lawyer, but I've known Allan to be the person with the $1 billion heart. I met Allan when I attended an event to speak about bail reform.
Bail reform would be the project that I devote most of my time to today.
Allan walked up and he said, "You don't know me, but I'd love to represent you in your fight to reform the bail system."
He did not agree with the position of his 15 colleagues of fighting tooth and nail against any semblance of reform of this very discriminatory system.
We began a 3-year journey. We were going against some of the best lawyers in the country. They were paid over $10 million to fight against what we were standing for in this case.
In the November 2018 elections, Harris County now having seen the light, all 15 of the Republican misdemeanor judges were voted out of office. We had 15 new judges, and from that time forward, I was representing the judges in negotiating a consent decree.
Allan is not only a friend, but he's also a mentor. When my time comes and I have the opportunity to give back in a way that Allan Van Fleet has, I'll do the same.
He ended up being the best mentor that I could possibly have asked for.
Words that I would use to describe Allan would be fearless, passionate, and willing.
Allan didn't do any of the incredible work that he's done for recognition. He did it because it was the right thing to do.
You can have a foot in both worlds. You can have a day job and you can do a great deal of good public interest work. These extra hours you put in will be the ones you really look back on as the most rewarding if you're just willing to get out there and do it.